achieved.
Hi, y'all, and welcome to Studio Day Heffrey, Day Quarantine, as we're going to talk about the Cowboys today. Got some big news from Jerry Jones, audio, Studio Day Heffrey. A lot of you said I should start with Jerry voice every day. Okay, so we got big news in Cowboy land today. Jerry Jones was on the Rich Eisen Show, and there's two giant takeaways for me. One of them is that he ain't sold on Dak Prescott at all. And number two is he is sold on Earl Thomas. So don't kill if you're an Earl Thomas guy and you're still living that Earl Thomas dream, don't give up, because I think there's a decent chance that Earl Thomas is still going to be a Cowboy. And I'm not beat a dead story horse guy. I don't do that crap. I don't believe in that. But we'll just listen to Jerry, and you're going to hear a guy that is absolutely 100% still interested in Earl Thomas, and that it might still be something that's going to happen. But first things first, I don't know what Dak has to do. I know a lot of you are going to like this. Jerry is not sold on Dak Prescott. Now, we probably already knew that, right? Because he didn't get a contract done, but some out there just blame Dak's agent, like, oh, they were asking for too much or whatever. But he's the only quarterback in the league that's not getting his deal done. That's a top 10 guy in the league. Now, let's hear from Jerry, as Rich Eisen on his show is going to ask Jerry about the offense. That's why I'm rocking headphones, so I can hear with you guys. He's going to ask Jerry about the offense. And I just want you to pay attention to what Jerry says and tell me if, after hearing this, you think that he's sold on his quarterback.
I think on offense you'll see the team with a more wide open bent, and it's because of an outstanding receiver core, and it's also because of the training camp and the evolving of Dak Prescott, our quarterback. So that if you're a defensive coordinator and you're lining up against the Cowboys, you're going to have to be ready to see a lot of different things happen. I really like what we've got in our passing game relative to our tight ends, relative to throwing to the backs coming out of the backfield, relative to Dak Prescott keeping it and taking off with using his legs, running. I think you're going to see all kinds of things that if you're a coordinator, you've got to be ready to defend against.
So first of all, there's a lot in there that I absolutely love, right? Talking about Dak's legs. I like a lot of what he's talking about. The offense kind of being wide open. I like that. But if you're sold on your quarterback, when you're talking about your offense, you don't start with something else. You talk about your quarterback. That's what you talk about. But that's not what he did there. And so you can draw the conclusion, at least I draw the conclusion, when you start with, well, our passing game is going to be incredible because we have great receivers. And then you don't go on to say, and our quarterback's amazing. You say, oh, and the evolving of our quarterback, like, man, he's getting better. Listen to Jerry talk about Deshaun Watson and Pat Mahomes when they got their contracts done. Because he was like, oh, yeah, we knew that they were going to get those amounts because they're two of the best in the league. What makes Deshaun, anybody help me out here, and not, I've seen it, what makes Deshaun Watson clearly in a different tier from Dak Prescott? What? Because that seems to be the consensus amongst a lot of NFL people, and it sounds like with Jerry Jones too. Based on what? That's all I need help with. If Dak was up 24-0 on the Chiefs in the playoffs and they lost the game, I know it doesn't happen because AFC, NFC, but just stick with we'll make it the Super Bowl. It's 24-0. You're winning a playoff game. And you lose that game, what happens to Dak? Deshaun Watson's still the best guy in the world. He's amazing. But Dak gets torn apart and torn down constantly for what? And maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe I'll be wrong. And it'll turn out that Deshaun Watson's a Hall of Famer and Dak Prescott is just an average quarterback. And if the Cowboys move on from him, maybe they'll have been right to do it. But man, what evidence do people have of that I'm missing? And again, evidence does not count as I seen it. I watched him. Evidence is give me something that I can read that can measure or quantify how Deshaun Watson is clearly better than Dak Prescott because I don't understand it. I don't get it. Now, the other thing is, I don't know if let's see. I'm going to have to see if this will let me load audio on the fly because I forgot to load it. So we'll find out, So that was Jerry Jones on the Rich Eisen Show talking about their offense. And again, there's a lot of positives I took out of that. They do have an incredible receiving core. The idea of Dak using his legs more is great. But when I was listening to it, the thing that really jumped out to me was just, God, he's not sold on his quarterback. That is asinine. It's insanity. But here he is on a guy he is sold on, and that's Earl Thomas.
I have a lot of personal respect for the player and the career of Earl Thomas. We were able to bring in this past week a guy named Brandon Carr that is quite a veteran and an accomplished veteran that can give us a lot of position flex. He can play safety or corner. And that fit our pistol for opening week. But, having players building rosters is a never-ending process. And with Earl sitting out there, that certainly offers us, as long as he's sitting out there, an opportunity to take a look at how it comes down for us this week and go from there. Now, we have a couple of people back there that we're really excited about, frankly, and our Xavier Woods and Darren Thompson. We're pretty proud of those guys.
I cut it off there for a reason. Did you guys hear who he was talking about? Xavier Woods, that is a person, and Darren Thompson. That would be Darian, starting safety. If Jerry doesn't know your name, he is trying to find somebody else to play for you. Jerry wants Earl. It's clear there, right? You go, oh, yeah, we got Brandon Carr, and we like him a lot. And, he worked for what we wanted to do this week. But, next week, if Earl's still out there, get ready. Jerry wants to do it. Cowboy safeties, you better be perfect. Because if you are not perfect, Jerry's got a plan. Jerry has got a plan to go get somebody else. So he is still hot on the trail of Earl Thomas. Now, also I want to congratulate Randy Gregory. Randy Gregory just got reinstated, and he got a contract extension. The Cowboys extended him through 2021 for, I believe, $2.1 million. The signing bonus was a couple $100,000. I hate to speculate on people's financial status, but with how much Randy has been suspended in the NFL, I would imagine this is very useful to him to get $200,000 in your pocket today. And the Cowboys get to win on that deal because they get a guy that now that he probably won't be suspended again because they don't care about weed in the NFL anymore and they're not going to punish you for having mental health problems. You get a good deal on a guy that you think is going to be a good pass rusher for $2 million next year. Like Randy might go out and get 8 sacks this year and you'd be like, oh, sweet, got him for $2 million next year. So that's your Randy Gregory news. He got a contract extension. Jerry is not sold on Dak. Jerry is sold on Earl Thomas. That's your big Cowboy stories of the day, according to me. Quick mailbags. By the way, make sure you're mashing that thumbs up and you're leaving in the comments what you want to talk about tomorrow. I'm sure there'll be a lot of Dak things in the comments today since he was a topic today. I look forward to all the reasonable takes. Okay? I look forward to that. All right. Mailbag. Ray, hey, Jeff, what's the story with Amari? Last week he was on the sidelines working with the training staff. Haven't heard anything since. Is he okay physically, or are they not telling us something? I think they're not telling us something. And I worry about Amari Cooper for this reason. I was talking to Brian Broaddus about this yesterday. Amari Cooper's history is that when he's dinged up and isn't able to prepare throughout the week of practice, he doesn't play well. Also, the media is not allowed out at the practices, or hasn't been the last few days, as they're getting ready for the Rams. So I don't know how much Amari Cooper is doing. But you are absolutely going into the season with Amari Cooper banged up. I do not buy for a second that, it's just a great time for him to not have to do anything. Just like I don't buy for a second when the Eagles say, it was just a great week for Carson Wentz to rest. No, Carson Wentz is banged up before the season even starts. So is Amari Cooper. It's scarier for them than it is for you. Because for your team, you've got CD, F, and Lamb. And you got Michael Gallup. And you got Blake Jarwin. You can survive this. But
I don't think Amari Cooper's healthy. The end. AJ, he says, how do you think the slot snaps will play out for the receivers? Will Lamb and Cooper split 50-50? I think CeeDee Lamb is going to be your slot guy 80% of the time. I think he is primarily, that's his job. He'll play the slot. Amari Cooper and Gallup will be the outside guys, and occasionally you'll get some CeeDee Lamb there in the slot, and maybe some Tony Pollard mixing in, and Jarwin will technically be a slot too when he's detached from the line of scrimmage, which I think he will be a lot. But no, CeeDee Lamb I think is your slot guy. Robert, Jeff, why would we not have Brandon Knight at right tackle? He did a decent job when Lyle was out last year. Irving can be a total bum. Brandon Knight might play right tackle. I know they put out their depth chart. Oh, we could talk about that for a few minutes. Whoever put out the Cowboys depth chart is not part of the Cowboys coaching staff. They only listed 10 guys on offense. They're going to play with 10 according to the depth chart. They got people at the wrong positions. Everson Griffin's not a starter. They have to release a depth chart going into week 1. They have to. So our press release that the Cowboys PR sends out to media, I got it. I get those emails, and it's like, yep, here's our depth chart. And I'm like, oh, okay, and let me just burn this because this means absolutely nothing. Don't worry about the depth chart. And I think that's part of the Mike McCarthy game. He knows we have to release a depth chart. So McCarthy went to an equipment guy and was like, hey, make up a depth chart, and I'm going to send that in. It's going to be great. He ain't trying to tell you anything. Brandon Knight might be the right tackle. Cam Irving, this is a tough part. There was about a week and a half stretch there where Tank Lawrence, Everson Griffin, and Aldon Smith were destroying Cowboy practices, just destroying them. The offense couldn't do anything. It was a nightmare for the offense. But because you're not hitting the quarterback, Dak would still hold the ball and run the play, even though he would have been sacked. And the reason for that is because your starting tackles were out, and guys like Cam Irving and Brandon Knight were getting destroyed. So one of them is going to have to play. And I don't care which one it is. The most important thing is going to be that your coaching staff recognizes neither one of you is Lyle Collins. We'll help you. Don't worry about it. We believe our receivers are good enough that we can keep an extra man in protection and we can still throw the football. So I don't care which one of them plays. I don't believe in either one. But, yeah, Brandon Knight might be the better option. Dallas says, why won't they make Connor Williams the swing tackle? The interior lineman depth won't be affected. I would. The reason they won't would be it's now been years since Connor Williams has played tackle. He's your starting left guard, so we don't want to move a guy who we don't know if he'll be better than what's going to be playing at right tackle, and then put in a guy who they think is worse at left guard as well. It's just too many moving parts for them. I would be interested. I think it would be irresponsible of the Cowboys to not know if Connor Williams can play tackle. So we'll see. King EB, always here till the end, man. Question, who's covering Jaws Sunday night? Jarwin. You'll have their trash linebackers. You'll have Taylor Rapp. If he gets deep enough, you could have John Johnson. David Long's their slot guy, but I don't think he'd be covering the tight end. The Rams shouldn't be able to cover the Cowboys, so I just wouldn't worry about it. Taylor Rapp's a good player. Jarwin's got a big size advantage on him, but I like Taylor Rapp. I'd like to steal him from the Rams. We were supposed to draft him. I wanted to draft him. So there's that. Now, a couple other guys are saying let's preview sort of the matchups, Rams versus Cowboys. And what is today? Today is a Wednesday. So how about we do that tomorrow? Tomorrow we'll take a look at some of the matchups, Cowboys versus Rams. It'll determine the outcome of this game. Some of my favorite matchups, the guys on the Rams you got to worry about. We'll get into all that tomorrow. Just make sure that you are subscribed, you're hitting the thumbs up, you're commenting with what you want to talk about tomorrow. I love you guys. Oh, wait, I love you is how I end it. Well, I'll do it in Jerry voice, right? Is that what we want to do?
Well, thank you for watching and being here, and you were, and we are, and did, and boy, we did a video and our video, and it was good, and we liked it, and we did. So thank you. I love you, and bye.